Um, I'm I'm pulling out a something I want to share with you, and I haven't done this teaching in a long time. I don't know why, I just have not, but I think this might be apropos for many of you out there, especially the new people that are joining us. I think it's really important for you to um, really figure out how your brain works, right? One thing is for sure is that God gave us a brain to operate this wonderful temple that He's given us called your body so that you can do some great things for Him, but not only for Him, but for your brothers and sisters here on this earth in terms of serving, right? And so I haven't, gosh, I don't know the last time honestly, I don't know the last time I covered this. This is, well, probably by some of the examples and pictures, I think this might have been 10 years ago, maybe 12 years ago. I mean, I just kind of pulled it out. Actually, I was in church today praying for everyone, praying for all you. So that's what I do. I'll go into church and I'll pray for you and for our team and for what should I cover tonight, right? So this presentation just kind of popped up in my as I was searching for, you know, and so maybe someone really needs this. Uh, but I'm kind of really surprised I haven't done this one in a while. So I'm hoping I can get it done in the time, time allotment that I need for it. So let me, all right. So I want to know that you're with me. So type in the message thing, let's go, or you can go LG. You guys ready? LG, LG, LG. All right, let's go. Good. You're with me. I love it. I love it. So good. That's good, man. Appreciate y'all. Okay, so it's programming your subconscious for success. It's funny. Alex Avian gives you a practical way to put the powerful brain that God gave you to work for your success and fulfillment. There's a lot to this. So I'm going to try to work through this, gang. I promise you. I'm going to try working through this. I am going to try to keep it in a compact amount of time, but we'll see what the Holy Spirit decides to do. Okay, here's the kind of the crux of how your brain works. This is sort of the thing. Thoughts are things. Okay. Thoughts are not just some ethereal thing. Thoughts are real things. It's as real as this phone. It's as real as a computer that you're staring at right now. It's as real as the glasses on your face that you're grabbing. It's as real as anything. Thoughts are real things, right? Like the table that I'm sitting at, it began as a thought. Someone thought about, hey, let's design a table that looks really cool. And it became a thing, right? So your thoughts are a series of, or your life is a series of thoughts in your mind to determine your reality. That may sound a little bit deep, but because it is deep. Your life is a series of thoughts in your mind to determine your reality. This is like what's cool. And there's a lot of NLP in here, neuro-linguistic programming, but it's not what a thing is your perception about what that thing is, right? It's your perceptions. Perceptions create the reality that you're living in right now. And your thoughts are such a powerful thing. Well, I think the theme of this whole thing is for you to be very careful to respect the power of your brain, the thoughts that come into your brain. Is the enemy trying to put thoughts in your brain? Is are the thoughts in your brain to do good for others, or the thoughts are thinking ill about someone, right? Here's one thing I learned on a spiritual perspective. Do you know that when you think ill of someone, and especially when you verbalize ill about someone, do you know that you actually hurt that person? You really cause harm to that person's spirit when you think ill of someone and you speak ill, especially when you speak ill of someone. And it really is, it can be sinful in a way, right? There are a lot of, oh man, this presentation is gonna take a while because I just have so many things in my head. Well, maybe I'll cover what I can and I'll cover the rest on Thursday at our sales call. Okay, we'll see. But I want you to respect what God has given you as your brain. Now, you choose if it is thoughts of fear or thoughts of doing something great with your life. You choose whether to think ill of someone or to think positive for that person, meaning you're praying for that person to come around. Maybe they harmed you and you want to think ill of them, but instead of thinking ill, you think, Lord, please help them turn their lives around. I know that they hurt me and damaged, my spirit, but I pray for their spirit. I pray for them that they will turn around. Now think of what that did for you. By doing that, what you did was you shielded yourself from junk that you could have felt, and you've uplifted that person. Like I'm telling you, the power of thoughts are just huge, right? Especially from the spiritual perspective, because we are all spiritual beings going through a human experience. Okay. We're not human beings having a spiritual experience. They're already been made before we came down here and being conceived. We had already existed. He knew you before you entered the womb. So that it should blow your mind like the way it blows mine, right? So we're spiritual beings going through human experience. So your choice of your thoughts are to be fearful or to be brave, to be courageous, to be positive, to think positive about what great things that God has given you to do with your life, right? And all the things that happen to you that you may seem negative is a lesson to be learned. Okay. And you get to choose to think like that. Here's the other thing about fear is you get what you fear. You get what you worry about. Why is that? Because when you focus on the thing you don't want, you get more of the thing that you don't want, right? It's almost like telling your kid, don't touch that hot stove. Don't touch that hot stove. Don't touch that hot stove. Your child, well, the way our brains work, we don't process negative, right? We always think of something as the positive, it's like, so when you start phrasing things like, don't touch that hot stove, your kid's going to want to touch the hot stove, right? You get what you fear. When you give life to fear, when you give life to worry, your total focus is on that thing, right? Like, for example, when you're driving down the road, are you focusing on not hitting these snow drifts that the plows have? You start focusing on the things that you're not supposed to hit, you're going to be driving down the road like in a zigzag. What you do is you drive down the road looking straight ahead at the clear path in front of you instead of all these obstacles that you can run into, right? See that, and that's the beautiful thing about the mind, because the mind can give you, your thoughts can give you that life of victory that you've always wanted, right? And knowing that is the power, right? A lot of us don't know that. And as a result of not knowing that, we don't think like that. And then we get all the crap that we're thinking about, right? But that power to change your thoughts that's in your hands. You should be fired up about that you control your world. You control the world and the reality that you live in. And it can be an awesome thing if you can just go and grab it because God had given you the power up in your head. So you can change to a life of victory. Think of your brain as a tool that God gave you, a computer that God programmed for you. That no, He created for you to program the power that it can create, right? Now they're getting good with AI, but there's not a computer in the world that can do what your brain can do yet. Okay. So your brain's your tool. It's the control center that keeps your body functioning without you even thinking about it. Your, what do they call the parasympathetic nerve system? Like, for example, do you think about breathing? Okay, I'm thinking about breathing now. You don't think about it because your body has automatic systems that keep your brain breathing, that keep your body breathing. Your body, when you're eating food, do you have to think about digesting it? No, your body starts to work to digest that food. There are automatic things that happen. Healing, your body heals itself. You get a cut, your body produces white blood cells to go and attack any infection, and it goes right away to healing yourself, right? It's not that coolest thing is that your brain has that power. Okay. Now, for the things that aren't automatic, you are the programmer of your brain. You're the programming person to create the kind of life that you want to create. And so you get to decide what kind of life do you want in order to program in your brain. It's like so cool. Your brain has a built-in GPS. When you program your brain to head to that destination, everything around you, every thought, every action will go will go in place to help you get there when you focus on what it is you want to accomplish, right? It's amazing. It's like it seems like the world around you starts conforming to helping you because it really does when you put it out there. I call it the Holy Spirit. God will put the people in place, the teachers in place, the failures in place to learn from in order to get you to that destination for his will for you. You have to decide. God's dream for you is to be the best version of yourself that you can be. And that's his dream. His dream for you is to be the ultimate soul that he created to accomplish great things on this earth. And to what end? If you believe the way that I do, to serve and help other people, get them on the right path towards, you know, heaven, where we want to be for the eternity. Okay. Now, for those of you that are still not down with all that, let's just say that God's dream for you is to be the best version of yourself so that you can accomplish great things that will help other people. Right. Okay. So, boy, I cannot believe that's just the first slide or the second slide. Okay, so living a life of fulfillment. As you know, that I finished my first certification course in um, Christian life coaching, and I'm starting in the second required course in in like a week or so. So I'm very excited about that, and then I'll be, earning my um, counseling hours or coaching hours to get fully certified. Not that I can't coach. I mean, that's part of it is coaching while I'm going through these coaches, but it's all about living a life of fulfillment. That's part of the life coaching is figuring out how to help you, bring out to help you, asking you questions to help you get to that life fulfillment, your mission, your goal, your purpose. So what is living life fulfillment? Fulfillment comes from knowing God's mission for you and doing it. I've heard it said that there are two major milestones in your life, the day you were born and the day that you learned why you were born, right? And this is really kind of what we're talking here. Now, look, it's a development of that process. It may not just be suddenly, boom, it hits your brain that this is what I should be doing with my life. It's a series of steps to get to that point, right? It's things happening to you that get you to that point to realize your mission, right? So fulfillment comes from knowing God's mission for you and doing it. Fulfillment is the key that will lead you out of your unhappiness, worry, and fear. This is kind of the cool thing is when you surrender to what you're supposed to do and who you're supposed to be, then you release unhappiness, worry, fear, and frustration. They no longer become part of your life when you can totally trust and the operative word for me is always surrender. Surrender to God's will for me. And when you totally surrender, everything that happens to you happens for the purpose of why He put you here. And so you take everything that happens to you and surrendering to it that either it's something I learned from or something that has happened because I did something to make that happen. And He's given me the tools, the abilities, and the vision to make that happen. Right. So fulfillment is the key that'll lead you out of unhappiness, worry, and fear. Knowing why you're here and what God wants you to do is the key to perseverance against the emotional ups and downs that you'll encounter in your life. That's one thing that I've learned. It took a while for me. Hopefully it'll be shorter for you. That, eh, it's like when we were disappointed we didn't get home on Sunday night. We didn't get home until Wednesday, late afternoon. But it's like, okay, what are you going to do? How can you can't control it? It just whatever happens, happens. We've already made the decision that we're going to stick together through this thing, So it was like, whatever, just there's so many positives that came out of it, right? Anyway, um, I think the emotions, when you start learning to surrender, the emotion part of it is the positive emotion of enjoying the ride, enjoying the journey. It's kind of like enjoying your children to see the kind of adults that they turned out to be and enjoying that. Even though when they were 2, 3, 4, 7, 16, certain ages come up, certain grades like sixth grade and seventh grade, those things are all part of what made them who they are and what you appreciate about them. Right. So it really ends up becoming a joyful ride, no matter what happens. You know, there are things that suffering that happens along the way, but there's joy in the suffering, right? Count it all joy, right? It's biblical, even in the suffering. That's kind of the strange way to think about your journey is to be joyful in the suffering. It's kind of an interesting concept, isn't it? How can I be joyful in the suffering? Man, you count it all joy, right? Because it's all part of our journey. And we're on this earth for only just a drop in the ocean of eternity. So this is all part of the journey, man. So yeah, you can find joy in it. Okay. All right. You already know your one victory is already yours. This is kind of the cool part of it is knowing that the end game, the end game, right? And so kind of the way that I like to describe it, this was like a long time ago, like when I was in the Amway business. And so this is back in, when you were recording stuff on VHS tapes. I'm not going to go to the Betamax tapes because that, you know, by that time VHS was kind of become the main winner in that war. And so at the time I was really into the NBA championship, and I even don't recall who was playing. It might have been the Warriors a long time ago. Anyway, suffice it to say that I recorded the game on VHS. And so I went to like an Amway meeting, opportunity meeting. I made sure I didn't like turn my radio on to hear who won the game because I wanted to watch it, you know. Well, inadvertently, I kept the radio on. So when I got in my car, I heard who won the game. And it was like just a bummer. I was really mad because I wanted to enjoy the game. And, fortunately, it was the team that I wanted to won the game. And it was like a close game. It was like a last minute buzzer type of thing. And so it was like I was happy, but I knew already. And so what was really cool is like, okay, I'm gonna rewind this tape and I'm gonna watch it. And so I'm gonna watch it. And usually Ginny knows how I am. If I'm watching a game and I'm like screaming at the screen. I'm jumping up and down. I like I get pretty emotional about, about these, the teams I really want to win. I get really into it. And but here's the cool thing is I already know who won. So when I put the tape in, I got my snacks and ice cream and beer, and I just sat back. I just watched the tape because I knew that my team was going to win, and I knew it was a buzzer beater, and I was watching it and just totally enjoying the ride. It was the coolest thing. And that's really what I'm talking about here. We already know the victory. So now we're just watching it play out in our lives, in the lives of our kids, our spouse, and in our lives, in what we do, and all in just knowing that everything's going to happen for good for those who love the Lord, right? It's all biblical. It's all in the Bible. Come on, man. You already know that you've won. So the victory is already here. Okay, so how are we going to get to that victory? Well, we want to do the best we can to get there. And we also want as many of our friends and family get there as well, right? You can program all that into you by the tools that you're going to learn in this presentation. Is that cool? So I'm going to give you all these great tools so that you can really live this tremendous life that you've always dreamed about. Like I'm sure you know people. Here's the thing, you know people around you, don't you, that you wonder, God, why are they so happy? Why are they, what is it about them that what is it about them that they just seem so living such a great life? And what is it? And you're just wondering, what is it about them? There are people that that they lived a charmed life, and that's not true, right? You know that everyone has their things that they deal with. And you know what? These people are the people that have figured it out. They've figured how to surrender to their vision and what they want to accomplish. So you're going to learn some of the tools today on how to do that intentionally for you. So kind of here's my example that I've used in my life. Um, so I did a talk at one of our events. At the time, it was called Fall Forward. Obviously, it was in the fall. We call it National Boot Camp now. So again, this is like 12 years ago when we were calling it Fall Forward. I did a talk on self-talk, that what you say is what you get. Okay. And here's the power of the spoken word. If you believe the way that I do, words are power. Words are your power. When you speak something is powerful. Okay. And it does not come back void. And for both good and for bad, as I mentioned, when you speak ill of someone, you hurt their spirit, right? And I believe you hurt your own because you're going down that path of negative. But you could also do the opposite, the good. And when you speak good you speak life into someone, good into, their life, good into yours, good things are going to happen because again, the power of the spoken word. And so there's a book, one of the best books for me that really propelled my life forward is a book called Self-Talk Solution by Shad Helmstetter. This book changed my life. And I said this at the time during this talk 12 years ago at Fall Forward. I think I had like 40 minutes, 45 minutes to go into it. But this book is powerful, and I would highly recommend that you read it. And it contains all these self-talk scripts that you can speak into yourself about all kinds of different subjects. They give you examples, like if you want to lose weight, if you want to develop courage, if you want to develop self-esteem. If you want to quit smoking, it's got all the scripts for you. Now, the key is for you to speak it, okay? Speak it. So what I did was, now this is back in the day, right? So this is not during iPhone. We're talking flip phone days, okay? So what I did with these scripts, so there's two ways to do it. There's a way that you have to do it two ways. One way is Like when you speak something, you speak it as if it already happened to you, and then you speak it in the third person about you. Okay. So I recorded all these onto a cassette. Like it just, these, if you're too young to know what cassette is, look it up on Wikipedia. Okay. So what I did is I record onto this cassette and then I listened to it every night before I went to bed. So, it's on a 90-minute cassette. So I would repeat. There was like a litany of probably about 25 to 30 things that I was speaking in both the first person and third person. And I just let it play for 45 minutes while I was going to sleep. Okay. So in doing this, actually, I did this during the Amway business. Yeah. So this was during the Amway business. So 8 months later, and part of this was get to bring Jeannie home from work to flush her job at LexisNexis. And I started this thing, and 8 months later, we replaced Jeannie's income in the Amway business to bring her home from work a month before we had our first child, Zoe. Okay. And here's what's crazy is that people came into my life, circumstances happened to make that happen. We went Ruby Direct. We're making 80,000 a year on average at that level. That was like Andy Albright's level. So we replaced her income. It was really cool. This is back in 91. When was Zoe born? Yeah, 91, right? Or was it 95? Yeah, okay, 95. We were in, yeah, 95. It was crazy. And then prior to this, I did this again the fall, a year prior to when I did this talk in 2012. So I recorded my own self-talk in MP3s and I put a playlist on my iPhone and then I slept to it every night listening to it, letting my subconscious listen to it. It was like powerful, made huge difference in my life. I had one of those headphone, those flat headphone or speakers that I attached to my iPhone, and then I just let it play all night. And then I end up getting these really tiny headphones that I plug into my iPhone, and then it would just play. And anyway, so I used that self-talk, and it was in my voice, right? My voice speaking to me. And in fact, I have a website. Um, I'll send it out. A website that I have all the self-talk MP3s, so you can actually use my voice. But it's better to do it in your own voice, record it yourself. But you can actually download all these MP3s and use it for yourself and play it at night. And now today they have these really cool um, sleeping headphones that are really flat that go in your ear, and then they're Bluetooth, so you can just Bluetooth them into your phone and just play it all night at a very low level. It doesn't have to be loud because your self-conscious will hear it. Okay. And then you'll go to sleep to it. I promise you. And when you'll wake up, and it's really crazy, you're going to wake up and you're going to have this energy. And this will program yourself, your subconscious. Now, it's really interesting. The times I've talked about this particular example for years. And what's really interesting is how many people don't do it. Like, like I'm telling you to do it, but you won't do it. That's really crazy. And this is where I think coaching is important because if I were coaching you, you were paying me to coach you, I would hold you accountable to making you do it and you would do it. Right. But because I'm giving this to you for free, you're not paying me. And I'm saying you should do this. You should go to this webpage to download these MP3s, you know. Now, the only person I know, whenever I say anything, the only person that ever does everything I say is Mary. Like Mary, you can count on Mary. When she hears me say something like this, she's going to go do it. And like, she's the only person I know of that's like that, which God bless her, man. It's, let me see if I can actually find that webpage. It's self-talk. I know it's on the training website. Speak what you want. That's it. Yeah, so it's on, let me, this is some old stuff right here. So I'm going to put it out. Yeah, I'm going to have to do this in two parts. Okay. So like I said, most people that hear this won't do it, but I know Mary will because it's just Mary. That's the only person I can count on. Anytime I say anything, she does it. So, which is really kind of why, yeah, I don't know you well enough yet, Alex. Is okay. Show me, don't snow me, brother.
Hey,
Show me, don't.
Alex, I've already done it, but I haven't listened to it in a while.
Okay.
I've already
Well,
looked at it. I've already done once, but it's been a while and it's definitely going to be doing it again. So thank you.
Well, you're a different person now. So there are
Oh,
different things in
absolutely.
your life that you want to accomplish. Back then, I don't know, maybe it was 2 years ago,
Hmm.
you're in a different position, different place in your life, different way of thinking. Now you have other things and visions for yourself that, that you want to accomplish. So anyway.
Can't wait.
Okay. So let me get back to this whole idea. And it worked for me. Like I'm telling you, like it works. It's tremendous. Okay. See, this is just mirroring the way I think. So it works. Your subconscious has to be convinced that you are serious about what you want. Here's the thing about your mind. Like if you want to lose weight, what does your mind do? Your body senses that you're depriving yourself of calories. And so what does your body do? Your body says, uh-oh, this person is maybe starving. We want to conserve the calories that he already has in his body called fat. We're going to slow his metabolism down because we don't want him losing weight because it's survival. We want him to survive. Maybe your body's thinking maybe he's out in the wilderness and doesn't have any food. And so we're going to conserve the calories that he already has in him. So it's going to slow your metabolism down. That's how your body works. Your subconscious has to be convinced that you really want to lose weight or you really want what it is you're serious about wanting. And so you got to prove to your subconscious by programming it. And self-talk is the way to do it. What you speak won't come back void. What you're programming in your head. What's great about it is not only do you say it, but you're going to listen to what you say because your ears hear you externally, your inner ear hears you internally, but you voicing it again does not come back void. There's so many spiritual principles involved. It's insane. But there's also, if you read the book, Shad Hempstetter talks about the psychological reason why this works beyond the spiritual reason why this works. So there's like confirmation both spiritually and physically why this stuff works. Okay. Your brain works to save your life by reacting to changes in you. It's so funny. I use that. I didn't even look at that next bullet, but it's the bullet that I just mentioned. Okay. But this movement of your subconscious in a tiny prompting, but this movement of your subconscious in a tiny prompting you to move to do what you're telling yourself your reality is. Okay. But this movement of your subconscious in a tiny prompting to move you to do what you are telling yourself your reality is. It's a little whisper of a feeling to move you. Okay. It's not that hard. It's not like you're yelling at your subconscious. Your subconscious reacts to you in the subtle whisper, in the light playing of this tape in your head. It's not this dramatic thing. People think it needs to be this dramatic thing, or you yelling at yourself, "Wake up!" It's the silent or the soft whisper in your head. Your movement becomes automatic without a lot of pushback of your subconscious mind. It becomes an easy habit. It becomes what you do automatically becomes easy, right? And so when you're trying to form habits that are against how you think, it's because you're trying to do the thing without the thought. You're changing the thing by doing instead of doing the change by thinking it, by changing your subconscious. Creating a habit becomes easy to form when you're programming your subconscious. It's not like I'm going to quit smoking. So you stop smoking. I'm going to stop smoking. I'm going to stop smoking. Right. Instead of changing the thing that you're denying yourself, instead of doing that, denying yourself, you are giving yourself permission to become healthy for the rest of your life. There's a reason why smokers' rates are double because statistically, they're going to die sooner. Right. So instead of programming to not do this habit, what you're doing is you're programming a habit for positive. And it's easy to form when you change your subconscious towards it because your body won't fight you. Okay. This is the fast way to change your world, right? Okay. Oh, gosh, I'm only on slide 6 of 22. Oh my gosh. This stuff's so good though. I mean, I got to give it its due. Okay. So I hope you can appreciate me wanting to really teach you and give this to you. Okay. So the book Goals by Brian Tracy, Goals with an exclamation point. One of the most transformative books, along with the Shad Hempstetter book, right? Then Andy Albright suggested a book, Goals by Brian Tracy. Again, I do what Andy tells me to do, or ask you what he suggests, right? The book Goals and the book Self-Talk Solution together will change your life, whatever you want. I promise you. You put those two together, it is the power combination. Each one of them, it's like epoxy, where you've got the whatever, the hardener or the whatever. Epoxy, you got to put the two things together and mix it together, and it creates this bond. This is what you're doing is you're creating epoxy for your brain to program it to be successful. Okay. You put those two books together, man, they go together like hand in glove. These books, I promise you, will change your life. So please, I'm begging you, I'm like begging you to get both books. Not only get the both books, but get the audio book of them. Get the audio book because I know sometimes it's harder to read physically. It's more powerful to read physically, but if you can get the audio of it, and if you can do both at the same time, reading and listening to it at the same time, that's power. That's a power move. But some of the books are more study books as well. So you really need the physical book, but to listen to it as well will also give you so much power, right? Anyway, so get the book Goals, Self-Talk Solution. Um, Let me see what the next slide is. Okay, I'm going to leave this for Thursday. How to figure out your why. I'm going to leave that part. So, gang, I hope this preamble gave you enough reason to be motivated to be on our call Thursday night. Hopefully, we're going to have Glenn on there, and then I'll talk about this stuff after we talk about have Glenn. If we don't have Glenn, then I'm just going to cover this stuff. But anyway, I hope this first part help you get excited, right, about where we're going with this and how to really change your 2026. Because I promise you, 30 days from now, implementing the things I'm teaching you and getting and really going after it with surrender, total surrender that this will work because it worked for me and it's worked for millions of other people that have put these two things together, the self-talk and the programming your subconscious and putting the goals book together. You can have the exact life that you want. I promise you, it will be better than you ever thought it could be. So, anyway, thanks everybody. Anyone got any questions at all?
Hey, Alex,
Hey, dude.
real quick, when you started talking about this, I said, you got to be kidding me because last week, Tony Robbins did a 3 day, 3 hour a day event, free event. And he was talking about fulfillment and about people getting in their life and they've done all this stuff, but they weren't fulfilled. And then something came up in there, and one of the first books I got back in the Amway days was The Magic of Believing. And I'm 6 hours into 9 hours of it on audio, and I've got my stuff up, and I've got back to that mode, and it was exciting, because I'd let that go. But anyway, when you started talking about this, I thought, you got to be kidding me. Maybe Man, it was an attraction.
It is, man.
And I appreciate it.
It it'll cut what we'll do is I'll tap into a lot of the Amway stuff we learned, right? Because they were all into this kind of stuff, but it's powerful. And again, I really urge you to do it. I know that it's too much to believe that everyone on this call will do the things I recommend, but I know a few of you will, and it'll be great. It'll be great for you. So anyway, but I know all of you can. I know everyone on this call can do all these things. So I'm speaking it that everyone on this call will go to that webpage and start getting into that book, that you're going to get both books, Cole's and Chad Hempstead's book and the audiobooks. I believe everyone's going to do it. See what I'm doing? I'm speaking it into existence because I'm positive. I believe you all will do it because I believe you all want to be in a better place at the end of your life. But when you're getting there, you're going to have a awesome, enjoyable one of fulfillment. So thanks, everybody. Appreciate y'all. God bless. And again, I'm praying for you. Know that I'm praying for you, right? Know that I'm praying for you. All right.
Thank
God
you.
bless. Take care,
Bye-bye.
everybody. See ya.